All right, welcome back to Acts chapter 7. We're right in the middle of Stephen's sermon and defense before the Sanhedrin, in which he reiterates quite a bit of history of the people of Israel, and he's about to focus some more on the story of Joseph, which ultimately leads to the exodus of Israel after a long time, actually 400 years, which Stephen has already mentioned. So why he goes into all this detail, I don't know, other than the fact that he's showing the Sanhedrin that he knows his Bible and he's thoroughly orthodox in his theology. He's rooted and he's grounded in the Old Testament. And so we left off last time reading about the patriarchs, the descendants of Jacob, renamed Israel. Verse number 9, the patriarchs became jealous of Joseph, sold him into Egypt, yet God was with him and rescued him from all of his afflictions, granted him favor and wisdom in the sight of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he made him governor over Egypt and all his household. And so here's a guy who was rejected by his brethren, but was ultimately exalted over his brethren. And we all know that's really a type of Christ. I don't know if the Sanhedrin is picking that up and if that's why Stephen is mentioning this or not, but it's obvious to us. Now, a famine came over all of Egypt and Canaan, and great affliction with it, and our fathers could find no food. But when Jacob heard that there was grain in Egypt, he sent our fathers there the first time. On the second visit, Joseph made himself known to his brothers, and Joseph's family was disclosed to Pharaoh. Then Joseph sent word and invited Jacob, his father, and all of his relatives to come to him, 75 persons in all. And Jacob went down to Egypt, and there he and our fathers died. From there they were removed to Shechem and laid in the tomb which Abraham had purchased for a sum of money from the sons of Hamor in Shechem. But at this time, as the time of the promise was approaching, which God had assured to Abraham, the people increased and multiplied in Egypt. Now, what's he talking about? He's talking about what he already made reference to in this sermon earlier, that God had told Abraham that his descendants would be sojourners in a foreign land. They would be oppressed, but after 400 years, he judged the nation that was oppressing them and set them free and bring them to the land of Canaan. Okay, so that fits into the overall sermon here. And verse number 18, until there arose another king over Egypt who knew nothing about Joseph, a direct quote from Genesis. It was he who took shrewd advantage of our race and mistreated our fathers so that they would expose their infants and they would not survive. It was at this time that Moses was born, and he was lovely in the sight of God, and he was nurtured 3 months in his father's home. And after he had been set outside, Pharaoh's daughter took him away and nurtured him as her own son. Moses was educated in all the learning of the Egyptians, and he was a man of power and word and deeds. All right, so remember, one of the accusations that Stephen's accusers had made against him is that he was denigrating Moses. Well, this certainly is proving that to be wrong, okay? Verse 23, but when he was approaching the age of 40, it entered his mind to visit his brethren, the sons of Israel. And when he saw one of them being treated unjustly, he defended him and took vengeance for the oppressed by striking down the Egyptian. And he supposed that his brethren understood that God was granting them deliverance through him, but they did not understand. On the following day, he appeared to them as they were fighting together, and he tried to reconcile them in peace, saying, men, you are brethren, why do you injure one another? But the one who was injuring his neighbor pushed him away, saying, who made you a ruler and judge over us? You did not mean to kill me as you killed the Egyptian yesterday, do you? Now, here's another example of someone who was rejected by his own and whom later God ultimately exalted that person to be over his own. So that's a theme that's recurring now with Joseph and with Moses. And at this remark, Moses fled, became an alien in the land of Midian, where he became the father of 2 sons. After 40 years had passed, an angel appeared to him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai in the flame of a burning thorn bush. When Moses saw it, he marveled at the sight, and as he approached to look more closely, there came a voice of the Lord, I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Moses shook with fear and would not venture to look, But the Lord said to him, take off your sandals from your feet, for the place in which you are standing is holy ground. All this is in capitals in my Bible. It's all direct quotes from Genesis. Stephen is proving to them, I am a man of the word. I've certainly seen the oppression of my people in Egypt, and I've heard their groans, and I've come down to rescue them. Come now, and I will send you to Egypt. Now, here is the point. Forgive me for hurrying, because we have limited time. This Moses, whom they disowned, saying, who made you a ruler and a judge, is the one whom God sent to be both a ruler and a deliverer with the help of the angel who appeared to him in the thorn bush. This man led them out, performing wonders and signs in the land of Egypt and in the Red Sea and in the wilderness for 40 years. So he's a type of Christ. He's another one rejected by his own, but God exalts him. He becomes the great leader of them all. This is the Moses who said to the sons of Israel, and now here is a direct quotation, God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among your brethren. Well, that was clearly, we know, and everyone sitting in the Sanhedrin that day would have agreed, a messianic reference. The prophet to whom Moses was referring to was no one less than the Messiah. And so the inference here is that, hey, you guys are acting just like your forefathers did. The original family rejected Joseph. Then all of Israel rejected Moses, God's appointed, anointed, predestined ones. And, and then God even said through Moses, I'm going to send a Messiah, and don't make the mistake that we've, illustrated from the past history. And we're going to read it momentarily here, that's exactly, of course, what they had done, and that's what Stephen points his finger at them and accuses them of. So we're going to have to wait till next time when this gets really juicy. Sorry, we're out of time. I'll see you next time.
Heavenward 7 is made possible by the financial support of viewers like you. Thank you.